Hey guys, and welcome back to BeardYGO. So the past two videos were pretty nice. We got to open some new product, and I did say in the opening video of the Albaz structure deck video that I will be back with 3 different Albaz decks that you can use by only using 3 structure decks. So before we get into that, let's get on to the tournament news. So we've got our tournament coming up tomorrow, literally 24 hours from now, and it'll be hosted on Edo Pro at 7 p.m. and the first place will get a box of Ghost from the Past, the second Haunting, as well as 1 structure deck Albaz Strike. Second place will receive a box of Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1. So if you want to be a part of this tournament, make sure you're subscribed, join the Discord, the link will be in the description down below, and make sure that you are from South Africa, as these prizes are only for South Africans. Then also, with regards to this tournament, pre-release cards are allowed, so you don't just have to play what is currently TCG legal. You can play OCG cards that we know will most likely be coming in the TCG, like Splight we know will be coming in TCG. You know, you've got the Therions coming up now in Dimension 4, so you can test those out as well. And a bunch of other stuff like Ishizu's cards as well, stuff like that. So a lot of new and interesting things that you can definitely play around with. Right, so then just want to say thank you to Solopop and Unplug Yourself for sponsoring this video, as well as sponsoring all the prizes in these tournaments. Without you guys, none of this will be possible. So yeah, let's get into Edo Pro over here, and we can see exactly what it looks like when you have 3 Albaz Strike structure decks. So we just change TCG over here. Right, so 3 structure decks will get you 15 tokens, along with 18 extra deck cards and 120 main deck cards. So as you can see over here, you've got some limited stuff for the White Dragon and the Black Dragon, Called By, as well as Gold Sock. So essentially we can remove these, all the extra copies, and you are working with 112 cards in the main deck in order for you to see how you would like to build a deck. So another very cool thing about these structure decks is, which you don't really get in structure decks, it's very rare, that you can build a main deck fully, a side deck fully, as well as the extra deck fully, just out of 3 structure decks, which I think is just really amazing. Amazing value for money, and not to mention the reprints are all insane. Right, so this is what you are looking at for 3 structure decks. Let's get on to the first variant, I would say. So here we've got a 60 card variant, which I was testing out. So we'll call this Albaz 1. And so this, I decided to push a little bit more of the dragons, and a lot more going second. And so let's get into the deck profile. So we've got the 2 Mercuria, which is a hand trap, which is very nice, and also allows us to search the next card, which is Spriggan's Kit. Spriggan's Kit allows us to get into any of our branded spells or traps, which is really awesome. And then I've got the 1 copy of the Golden Sword Soul in here, which is basically just battle protection, and it can also reborn either your Fleur-de-Lis or your Effect Vader. So we've got 3 copies of Fallen of Albaz, which is the core of the deck essentially. And then we've got 3 copies of Keeper of Dragon Magic, along with 3 copies of Summoner Monk. So these are to get into your engine, these 6 cards over here. And yeah, so then we've got the 1 copy of Starlight Seyfert, and Seyfert can recycle our dragons, which will be Albion and Levianeer. It can also search us let's see, yeah, it can also search us Albaz as well, which is really awesome. Alright, so then we got the 2 copies of Albion. Now, Albion the Shrouded Dragon is essentially just Upstart Goblin for the deck. So 2 copies just so that we can dig a little bit deeper since we are playing a 60 card variant. Then we got the 2 copies of Chaos Dragon Levianeer. So this we can either draw into and we can also dump it, or for the Branded Fusion. Overall, a very good deck. Then we also, well, a very good card. But yeah, the deck is good too. Don't worry, I don't build things that I don't think are decent. Right, so we got the 2 copies of Fleur de Lis. Unfortunately, this is the only Dogmatica card in the deck, so we don't get the negate effect, but it does turn out to be a very nice beater, and it can just continue gaining that attack. Then for going second, we've also got 2 copies of the Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju, as well as 2 copies of Radiant as well. Then obviously 3 Ghost Ogre and 3 Veiler, which is also in the deck. And then the 1 copy of Artifact Scythe. So this is like more of a going first side of yours for in case you do go first. Then we've got the 3 copies of Branded Fusion. We've got 3 copies of Branded Loss so that we don't... so we essentially have Magical Meltdown, you know. And this can also search us Albaz, the Golden Sword Soul, Kit, Mercuria, or even Albion, which is just really awesome. The Keeper of Dragon Magic searches us the Branded Fusion, and Summoner Monk gets us into Keeper or Albion, which is just great. Then we got 3 copies of Branded Bond, which is just basically to recycle our Albaz, and then essentially super volley the opponent because of Albaz's effect. And then we got 3 copies of Branded in White, which is just another fusion spell as well. And then 2 copies of Fusion Substitute. So Fusion Substitute is treated as polymerization, and Keeper of Dragon Magic can search it as well. Plus it can recycle a fusion monster in the extra deck, in the grave, to put it back into the extra deck in order to then also draw 1 card. So again, a bit of draw power there. And speaking of draw power, we have got Pot of Extravagance at 3 year as well. Then again, for going second, we've got 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. We have 1 copy of Gold Sock to banish the Mercuria to search the Kit. And then we've got 1 Call by the Grave because we want Branded Fusion to resolve. But yeah, it's a little bit redundant because we are playing a 60 card variant, but you know, rather have it in there and have the chance of stopping something like Ash. Then in order to finish the Scythe package, we've got Back to the Front. So essentially what you would do is you would activate Branded Fusion, send Albaz, send Scythe, and then bring out your Albion. If you've already set stuff up, then Albion can bring out either the Lobelion or the Mirror Jade. And then if you have Back to the Front, in the opponent's turn, you just Back to the Front the Scythe back, and then you lock them from the extra deck, which is really awesome as well. Then we got 1 copy of Branded Sword, which is essentially our recycling of our monsters that's either Fallen of Albaz or Listed. And it's also a very good card to OTK. So you banish spells and traps, Branded spells and traps from your grave, and then you summon those many tokens. So you've got Branded Fusion, you've got Branded Lost, you've got Branded Bond, Branded in White, as well as Branded Retribution, which is the next card we'll get into. So essentially you can bring out 5 tokens at 2,500 attack each, and then just OTK your opponent, which is just really cool. And then we got the 1 copy of Branded Retribution, which is essentially just a solemn warning. So 1 copy of each of these is basically just there for in case we go first as well. Branded Sword can be good for mid-game, late game, just to OTK. Then the extra deck, we got the 3 Mirror Jade, 3 Lobelion, 3 Albion, 2 of Titaniclad, 2 Brigand, and then 2 Sprint. So these ratios are essentially all obviously just there because of Pot of Extravagance, and these are all the different fusions that you do get in the structure deck. Then we get onto our side deck, which is our third copy of Thunder King Kaiju and the Radiant Kaiju, and then also a bunch of going first stuff. So in case we want to go first, then we can just basically smokescreen into this. 3 Warning Point, really good card. 3-dimensional barrier, also very nice, especially against decks similar to this. We know there's a bunch of variants going out around, and I will get into these different variants as well in this video. Right, so then we got 3, there can be only 1, very good Floodgate. 3 Necro Fusion, just a fusion as well in the opponent's turn. And then our second and third copies of branded Retribution. Retribution also can give us back a branded spell or trap that's in our grave by banishing it from the grave, which is really cool as well. So this is the 60 card variant, and we'll call that Albaz 1. Then we get into Albaz 2, which is a bit more of like a consistent version. So it's a 40 card build, and we are really trying to push into getting that branded fusion. So we got the 3 Mercuria and the 1 Goldsock. Very nice hand trap, Goldsock, just to get us. Basically Goldsock equals branded fusion, so that's great. Then we got the 3 Kit. We got 2 Albaz this time, because we can always recycle it, which is very nice. Then we got 3 Albions, which is our upstarts. So if we see that, we can just use it to dig deep into our deck. We got Keeper of Dragon Magic, which can get us branded fusion. We've got Summon a Monk, which can go into Keeper to get us branded fusion as well. So more consistency there. Then we got the 1 Fleur de Lis, and this is mainly just another target for branded fusion, just to send either for Albion or for Titanic Lad. You can also use it to bring out Brigand. But yeah, that's basically it. And then the 3 Ogre and 3 Veiler. Then 3 copies of branded fusion, 2 branded in white this time, 1 copy of fusion substitute, 3 copies of branded lost because we want our fusion spells to go off, and then 3 extra for the draw power, the 1 Goldsock, the 1 Called By, 1 branded sword, and the 1 Retribution. So this is more of a branded fusion turbo version, where we're trying to just push branded fusion out as easily as possible and more consistently than the 60 card variant. Then we can see the extra deck is the same as the previous. I think this is just like the golden ratio. Then side deck, we got 3 copies of the Thunder King Kaiju, 3 copies of Radiant Kaiju, 3 copies of Dark Rule No More, 3 there can be only 1, and 3 dimensional barrier. So that is it for the second variant. And yeah, so this is just turboing out our fusions. Then we get on to Albaz number 3, which is very similar to our second build. However, it is a little bit more control orientated. So we got the 3 Mercuria as well, 3 Spriggan Skit, and we got the 3 Albaz. And this is mainly because we're not running the Summon a Monk, and we are also not running the Keeper of Dragon Magic. So this at 3 is much better. Then 1 Albion, because we are not really wanting to dig too much into the deck. We don't want to see so many bricks because we do already have a lot of traps and stuff. So we don't have those cards to turbo into branded fusion that much. So if we see this, yeah, it's nice, but it's not really what we want to see. Then we mainly just want to get the Albion in the grave with the branded fusion. Right, so then we got the 1 Fleur de Lis as well. We've got the 1 Scythe, 3 Ogre, 3 Veiler, and as you can see in the second version of here, we don't have Scythe here at all. So this is the non-Scythe version. So that's just focusing more on branded fusion. This one is a bit more control. So 3 copies of branded fusion, 3 copies of Extravagance, 2 copies of branded lost, 2 copies of branded in white, 1 Goldsock, 1 Call by the Grave. Then getting onto the traps, we've got 1 branded sword, 1 Retribution, 3 back to the front to bring out our Scythe, 3 there can be only 1, and 2 warning points. So the reason for this version is mainly because we are reducing our consistency by not running those cards that turbo into branded fusion, but we are basically balancing that out with more control. So That way we can slow down the pace of the game in case we brick and stuff, so that we can still survive and then continue our plays as the game progresses. Then again, golden ratio extra deck, and our side deck is 3 copies of the Thunder King, 3 copies of Radiant, and then the 1 copy of the golden Sword Soul, and this is mainly just battle protection as well. And we can search it, so might as well just put one in the side if you're facing a deck that does like to OTK and stuff like that. And then the 3 Dark Ruler for going second as well. And then 3 Dimensional Barrier to side in for going first. 1 Warning Point to turn that into a 3, and then another Branded Retribution to increase our chances of having a Solemn Warning if we go first as well. So that is basically it, you guys. So we've got Albaz 1, which is the 60 card. We have Albaz 2, which is a 40 card Branded Fusion Turbo variant. And then we've got the little bit more control variant as Albaz 3. So I want you guys to let me know which of these 3 variants I will be taking to a tournament. So I'll be going to 2 tournaments. I'll take the same variant to both tournaments. And yeah, let me know which one of these 3 you think I will be, you know, taking. And if you haven't noticed, I didn't mention anything about a giveaway when I was opening this structure deck. So this is where the giveaway comes in. So you guys vote on which one of the 3 decks I'll be taking, and then all the people who were correct will then go on to spin the wheel, and the winner from that will receive not 1, not 2, but 3 Albaz Strike structure decks. So now's your chance. You don't have to spend money on this deck. So grab 3 of these by taking part in this competition. Then also just want to remind you guys as well to continuously comment on the previous video that I uploaded with regards to the opening of Ghosts from the Past as well, because I'll be doing both giveaways in the next video that after I've done the tournaments, obviously. So after I've done the tournaments, then I will do the next giveaway, and I'll be giving away the winner of Ghosts from the Past, as well as the winner of the 3 Albaz Strike structure decks. So yeah, then just want to spend a few little minutes with regards to the whole Albaz theme and everything, and head on over to a few different variants that you can try out with decks you probably already have, or decks that you can probably easily obtain. So if we have a look at our first variant over here, we have got branded Cyber Dragons. So branded Cyber Dragons, really cool little variant here. You know, you've got your little branded engine, you've got your Cyber Dragon engine as well, and this is basically just a layout. You can change it however you want, but the cool thing is that Cyber Dragon deck, or the Cyber Dark deck, has all of these Cyber Dragon cards that you basically need. I don't think it has Machine Dupe, but these shouldn't be too difficult to get. I can't remember exactly, but that's another cheap way for you to build this variant. Grab 3 of the Cyber Dragon decks, and then 3 of the Albaz Strike decks, and then you can change this deck however you see fit. You know, we've got Galaxy Soldier coming out in Ghosts from the Past as well, so you can get your Galaxy Soldiers from there as well. Then we can move over to branded Despia. So this is obviously the meta deck of these that I'll be showcasing. So we've got a bunch of the Despia stuff that is being reprinted in Ghosts from the Past as well, and I'm sure you can pick up a bunch of other ones like commons of like Despian Tragedy and stuff like that for quite cheap as well. So definitely you guys can try out this variant. I think this is probably one of the best variants that you can use. However, this will definitely be a little bit more expensive. But yeah, it basically all just comes together if you buy the Albaz Strike deck. So getting the deck, and if you already have these, then great, you are gonna be topping a lot of locals. So right, then I've got another variant here, which is the branded Shadows. So this is for all you guys who are your Shadow lovers and you picked up the Shadow structure decks or even got the reprints from last year's Megatons of the new stuff like Wendy and Ariel, Apcalone as well. I think Construct and Winder as well were in there in the Megatons, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, the Shadow variant is also very nice, very powerful as well, and yeah, it's just an all-round very good deck, and I would definitely say you guys should try it out as well. Then I've got branded Tri-Brigade over here. So Tri-Brigade also has become somewhat of a cheaper deck as well, due to the whole Bird Up getting nerfed. We don't have the Simorg link anymore, but now you've got an addition with the Albaz Strike structure deck, and you can add in the Mercuria, the Albaz, and the Albion along with your branded fusions to get into your Mirror Jade essentially. And that just helps to push this deck even further. So yeah, also a very nice deck that you guys can try out. And yeah, that gets us to the last one over here, which is branded zombies. And so like I said, there's a lot of reprints that are either coming up or that are already out. Like for example, in Ghosts from the Past, you can get your Doom Kings and your Banshees as well. I think Zombie World and Bloom are also in Ghosts from the Past, so that I think is just super awesome. And yeah, I would definitely give this build a go as well. I've tested it out quite a number of times, along with the rest of these that I've showed you. But yeah, all of these decks, they work very nicely, and the Albaz structure decks just add so much to these archetypes, which I think is really awesome. Then also, one thing that you guys have to note is if you're going for these type of variants, there's certain things that you would like to pick up. So one thing that I would say is probably the most necessary would be the Dark Charmer. Because this meta is now shifting into more of a Albaz centered gameplay, the Dark Charmer I think is just a very good staple card to pick up. So definitely see if you can get your hands on one of these. And then you've got the Hex-Sealed Fusion if you want to go into Dragoon. So if this deck is still surviving by the 2022 Megatons, then I would definitely say grab a copy of the Hex-Sealed Fusion, the light one specifically, because then you'll be able to go into Dragoon, and we already know that Dragoon is being reprinted in the tins this year. So definitely a massive reprint, and you guys should all pick that up as well. And then obviously Hulk got reprinted in Ghosts from the Past as well, so that's also a really cool addition to the deck. And then obviously we had the Maximum Gold, which gave us Verte, and I think over here it's not in Cyber Dragons, I think it's in the Shadows that I just put in the access code over here. So if you'll have a look, it's literally the Cyber Dragons and the Despias that don't have the Dark Charmer. So the Shadows, as well as the Tri-Brigade, as well as the zombies, all have the Dark Charmer, and so that's why I say it's definitely a staple to have. Even in a deck that you're not running Albaz and everything, if you're running some Darks, put it in there to counter the Albaz strategy as well. So yeah, that is about it, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and join the tournament tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And yeah, another thing regarding the tournament is that this is going to be the last tournament for a bit. The next tournament will not be in 2 weeks, but will be on the 4th of June instead. I've got a couple of things that is preventing me from hosting on in the next 2 weeks, and then after that we've got the state championships as well, so we definitely don't want to be pushing too much in this month. So the next tournament will be on the 4th of June. And yeah, that's about it. So let me know what you guys think I'll be taking with regards to Albaz 1, Albaz 2, or Albaz 3. And yeah, then I'll go and test this structure deck out at the tournaments and let you guys know how it went, and hopefully you guys can get some awesome prizes. Once again, thanks very much for all your support. Really appreciate all of you guys, and yeah, that's about it from me. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.